Thank you, Professor Tim Powers, Professor Paul Chesty, and all participants. Allow me to express my appreciation again. Thank you for having me after my first visit last May. It was indeed one of the most memorable visits to a university. This is one of the oldest, and it was a very brief visit. So we planned to do a second one, and we thought by the time I completed my term as governor, we will have more time. That's what we thought. Apparently, that's not the case. And this is my second, and I truly appreciate the invitations, not only to the university, but also the invitation to serve as one of the board member for the Institute for ASEAN Studies here at Oxford University.
Now, with regard to using Bahasa as ASEAN language, we need to enrich our language to begin with. I don't know how many words in Malay today. How many words of Malay? The number of words in the Malay language. How many? Anyone? In Bahasa Indonesia, we have 150,000 words in Bahasa Indonesia. And I remember when I started my job as Minister of Education, at that time it was only around 90,000. So I told our team, we need to enrich our language because 90,000 is not enough. Do you know how many words in the language, in English language? 1 million. And 7,000 additional words every year. How many languages in Arabic? 12.7 million words. Okay? So when you talk about our language becoming a language of international community, you really need to do our homework, enrich our language. How do we enrich our language? Absorb local language across the archipelago. Across the archipelago. Because in many local languages, even the word falling, it can be 20 words of falling. If you fall to the front, that's a different word. If you fall to the back, that's a different word. If you fall because it's slippery, that's a different word. And if you fall because there is a hole, it's a different word. What I'm saying is that, you know, richness of language is important when you present it to the international community as an international language. So that is why it's important for us here in Indonesia and Malaysia to continue enriching our language so that we can stand up in the international community and presenting our language to the world. But if we haven't done our homework, wait a minute, okay? Hold on. So
Mayor Ahmad Abu Talib, Mayor Eric Garcetti, and also our friends Emilia Sais from the UCLG, and Milak from C40, and all the delegates coming from the participating cities, including Indonesian mayors for joining us tonight. Let me name a few. The Mayor of Palu, Pak Rahmat Masud. Where are you, Pak Rahmat? Mayor of Palu. There we go. That's the Mayor of Palu. Palu is located in the southeast of Sulawesi Island. So it took about 3 to 4 hours of flying to get into his city. And then the Mayor of Palembang, are you here yet? Because one bus was left behind. So some of us were a bit behind, already here now. All participants, all delegation, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me on behalf of the people and the government of Jakarta to welcome all of you in this city. You know, you have experienced, it's the first day in our city. I hope Jakarta treats you well so far, and we hope that you will enjoy Jakarta. But allow me to say a little bit about our city. This city has islands of 111 islands, part of our city. Perhaps this is the only city in the world, megapolitans, that have islands as part of the city. 11 were populated, so they're located north of us, and south of us were the highlands. So we are in the locations that has been central of trades for centuries. And the ship that we are at, the Pinisi, this is the ship that has transported spices from the Malukus all the way to Africa, all the way to Europe for centuries. So this is the one, the ship that has transported all the spices there. So we have decided, let's do the first evening having a dinner in a coastal area, enjoy the sunset. Unfortunately, the cloud was was not that friendly to us today, but we would like you to experience that Jakarta is not a city in the central of a continent. It is actually in the coastal area, and we have been working to transform this coastal area into visitable places. In the past, the coastal area was mostly for industry. Unfortunately, minimum engagement. So generally, Jakartans didn't feel like they're living in the coastal area. So in the past few years, we started working on that, and we're grateful to see the result. Now more and more people are coming to the beach. More and more people coming to the coastal area. So that's a little bit about us, and the rest, we'll have the more serious session tomorrow. Tonight, we hope you enjoy the evening, the engagement, the music, and I hope this will bring you a special experience of having an evening in the Pinisi ship that has been here for hundreds of years. And by the way, the UNESCO has already declared this as intangible World Heritage, so the Pinisi. So if we are actually opening up everything, it can actually sail. We will be doing a little bit of sailing. We'll make sure we'll come back to Jakarta, so don't worry. It's only surrounding this area. And again, thank you everyone. I would really like to express my appreciations to all of you that are making the effort to come to Jakarta. And many have traveled so many hours to come to Jakarta. Jakarta, Indonesia is located in the far east of Asia. So all the way to the southeast of Asia. So to many of you, it's truly a far traveling. Our friends from Argentina. Where are you from Argentina? How many hours it takes you to fly here? 33 hours of flying. Thank you. Let's give an applause to her for coming all the way. 33 hours. Mayor, Eric, how many hours it took you? It took, 20 hours or something.
About 20 hours.
About 20 hours. So it's a long distance travel. We truly appreciate that you come and participating in this important event for us. This is an event that Jakarta has been looking forward for so many months. We have done preparations, and having G20 presidency has truly re-energized us. We have been focusing so much on domestic issues for so many years, given the challenge that Indonesia is facing. And then now we are at the G20 presidency. We then realize again the importance to re-engage with the world, and now we're just doing that. Again, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for participating. Let's enjoy the evening, and let's enjoy Jakarta. Thank you.
Halo teman, jumpa bersama saya di Politik Dangi ya. Ini sangat luar biasa sekali teman-teman. Bagaimana Anies Baswedan ya. Saya teringat bagaimana pernyataan dari Tifa ya, yang mengatakan bahwa Anies itu adalah tokoh yang ditunggu ya oleh dunia internasional teman-teman. Dan ini bukan tidak mungkin ya, karena kecerdasan Anies, kepintaran Anies ini kan sangat luar biasa. Bagaimana Anies kemudian dikenal oleh tokoh-tokoh luar negeri pun ya. Kalau kita lihat, Anies juga mempunyai relasi hubungan ya dengan kampus-kampus di luar negeri, teman-teman. Beliau mengajar ya kan itu adalah sebuah langkah-langkah yang kecil, namun itu berdampak bagi dunia. Kalau kita melihat, Anies memang seorang tokoh ya fenomenal. Beliau bukan pejabat publik, namun beliau selalu menjadi ancaman bagi para penguasa, teman. Bagaimana Anies kemudian ya digadang-gadang akan maju sebagai capres 2029 ya. Ini adalah sebuah langkah yang sangat strategis. Bayangkan ya, Anies yang bukan siapa-siapa ini aja teman, beliau namanya masih menjadi capres yang terkuat ya. Kalaupun nanti Anies kalah dengan Prabowo 2029 ya kan, saya yakin bahwa 2034 ya, Anies itu bakal menang teman-teman. Kenapa? Karena sama halnya bagaimana dulu ya Jokowi dan Prabowo dari 2014 mereka selalu berkompetisi ya sampai 2019. 2024 nama Prabowo masih kuat teman-teman, dan akhirnya ia menjadi presiden. Saya menduga dan menganalisis bahwa hal yang sama juga terjadi dengan Anies, ya kan? Anies saat ini tokoh yang terkuat kedua teman setelah Prabowo. Kalaupun nanti Anies kalah ya dengan Prabowo di 2029, 2024 ini saya 2034 saya yakin bahwa Anies itu akan menang. Namun ia mulai menyusun kekuatan-kekuatan politiknya. Melalui apa? Melalui bagaimana ia kemudian membangun partai, memulai membangun kekuatannya di akar rumput, ya kan? Ini kan sebuah langkah jenius yang dilakukan oleh Anies Baswedan, teman-teman. Ya ini sangat jenius menurut saya ya. Jadi bahkan pidato-pidato Anies yang kita lihat ini sungguh luar biasa. Bagaimana menurut kalian? Kita diskusi di kolom komentar ya. Sampai jumpa lagi.